Okay, I just got back from seeing Rise of Skywalker I've seen it 2.5 times. I'll get into that later, but we have a lot to unpack here. Just a lot to say. I don't know what else to say. That's the intro. Hello and welcome to the Queendom. I'm Sarah Ingle, and today we're discussing all my thoughts and all of your thoughts on Rise of Skywalker. And just, I think, some Star Wars in general. I will warn you before we get to any spoilers, so don't worry, I'll be like, hey, wait, skipped timestamp. I just got back from my 2.5 time of watching the first time opening night because Disney invited me. And then I saw it half a time because I went to go see it and the theater was evacuated. All of a sudden this emergency thing went off and was like, emergency, evacuate. And I was like, ah, and evacuated.
I haven't evacuated since the solstice.
I'm really, really glad that I saw it a second and a half time, because when I came out of it the first time, I did not know what to think of it. Trying to process everything. And something about it just to me, it initially felt more like a dream.
I've had the most peculiar dream.
It was like I had a dream about Star Wars.
Dreams pass in time.
And then woke up and was like, I'm glad that was a dream.
I'd much rather dream about Padme.
I don't mean to say that in a mean, negative way. I think it was just a lot to wrap my head around because, Star Wars does mean a lot to me, and I caught things that did seem like they were attempts to make it fit more within the realm of what we know of as Star Wars. Given the setup we had with Episode 8, they really did what they could with it to still make it all fit together. So just this background, I of course love the original trilogy. I love the prequels too. I love all 3 of the prequels. And I know some people really don't like the prequels, but I love them.
Every single one of them.
And especially, I know a lot of people really don't like Episode 2, and that to me is one of my favorites. And every time I try and rank which movies I like best, I don't know, because I just really, 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 really love all of the original and the prequels so much. Something that a lot of people were afraid of going into it was oh, Palpatine's back. And I don't think that's counting as a spoiler because that's been in every trailer ever of Episode 9. And so Anakin's the chosen one. He's supposed to bring balance to the Force. Does this diminish his sacrifice that he made at the end of Return of the Jedi if now suddenly the Emperor is back? 7 I enjoyed. 7 to me, and I think George Lucas even said this, that it didn't really do anything that new, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. And I'm not one of those people who just don't like Disney Star Wars. No, I thought Rogue One was amazing. Solo I don't put in. I'm more into Jedi things. I like all of the original and prequels even better than I like The Mandalorian, for instance. And I love The Mandalorian. When I saw 8 in the theater, I wasn't one of those people who left and was like, oh, I hate it so much. I left not even thinking that much of it, why I felt this way, but it didn't make me feel anything.
I don't sense anything.
I felt nothing while watching it, and which is the opposite of when I watch any other Star Wars. I always feel, it makes you feel something.
Suit your feelings, Father.
And I felt nothing, and I literally thought to myself, maybe I just don't like Star Wars as much anymore. And that was what I went away with thinking for a really long time, which is crazy because I wanted to be Luke Skywalker. Like, I just would spin, like twirl around in the living room. I'd turn all the lights off and I had like this little black turtleneck and these black little stretchy pants. I was like bullied for how much I liked it. I wore my hair in Princess Leia buns for like 3 years straight. I was a weird kid. Thinking about it later, when I went back and watched the movie later, I was like, it's not that I don't like Star Wars as much. It didn't feel like Star Wars as much. And it threw out a lot of the things and the lore, and I don't want to critique it too much because that's not what the point of this video is. I feel like Rise of Skywalker is a good movie, and I think it is a good conclusion for the sequels. That being said, I feel like the sequels, it feels like a weird EU extended universe, but I feel a little less like that now, but it just feels like it was added on. It feels like the prequels and original were more like core to the story, and this was tacked on. And I think and we're gonna start to get into some specifics now. Skip to timestamp, warning, spoiler alert, we'll give you a minute. I liked it a lot better after watching it the second and a half time. I had read before and I had listened to so many theory videos. One of the theories I had heard a lot about was that Rey was Palpatine's granddaughter. So this was not like the first time I'd ever heard that. But I believe it was either George Lucas or J.J. Abrams or somebody said specifically in an interview, no, Palpatine does not have any children. And so I went into it thinking, okay, that is one theory that I can cross off the list then, because they confirmed that Palpatine didn't have any children. Well, then I was surprised because I was like, oh, that was like the one that I thought we didn't have to worry about. It was like, oh, okay, so that is what the case is. They're just trying to throw us off. It didn't have the same surprise for me as like seeing Baby Yoda at the end of the first episode of The Mandalorian. I think it explains a lot. I think her being his granddaughter explains a lot of things, like powers and things that people were really, really up in arms about. I absolutely felt something in that scene a couple times when Luke pulls the X-Wing out of the water, and anytime they even said like Red 5 or something like that, I'm just like, but that is also like pure 100% nostalgia driving those feels. But I did definitely feel something when like all like the random, just like everyday man's people's ships coming to take down the Empire, and how everybody showed up. It was like a really beautiful moment, and I think like it was a good movie. I don't expect it to feel the same way as ones where George Lucas was still like the owner of Lucasfilm and ultimately has the final say on it, because it's like his signature isn't as much in there, but I still enjoyed them. I think they did a really, really, really good job of trying very hard to hold true to some of the stuff that Star Wars was kind of originally about. There's some things that almost took me out of the movie in 9, and I feel like it was because of what happened in 8. They were trying to like very specifically, pretty like outright, undo things that were done in 8.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
I'm trying to think of something that was really like still core to the plot. I felt like so much of it was like very specifically like saying, hey, we know you complained about this in 8, so we're here to right that wrong. The guy from Lord of the Rings, one of the hobbits, every time I saw it, there's something about like really big fandom movies where when they're like in other fandom movies, it just really takes you out of it. Every time I would see him, I was like, oh, where's Frodo? One thing I really loved that they did, I loved how much tribute they paid to Carrie Fisher and Leia. I feel like they did a beautiful job of that, and especially having her daughter in there, it was like, oh, that's so sweet. That made me feel something too. Like seeing her daughter too, like that was really special. I will say some of the dialogue felt, because they had to use, basically, because they didn't CGI her, they used actual Carrie Fisher from deleted scenes from before. The dialogue felt like it was forced to like fit in those pieces. And I know that it was, and maybe I only feel that way because I know that it was. I'm not complaining. I love what they did, and I think they did the best, and they made the best choice there, but I will still say that it did honestly pull me out of the moment. Not that there's anything they could do about it though, so if I can't fix it, why am I complaining about it? I don't know, I'm just telling you how I felt. I feel like I'm arguing with myself here. I feel like they really did try to keep Anakin's legacy and story and sacrifice intact. Especially with Palpatine being attached to that big, like, thing.
Where are you taking this thing?
It was almost like he wasn't really alive and back. It was almost like he was a memory and such a fragment of what he was that I felt like there was still that balance to the Force brought. But he was trying to unbalance the Force by getting Rey to actually like be the Empress, and that would have unbalanced the Force for sure, because we would have had a full, very powerful, very much alive Sith Lord on our hands. When I saw it in that way and was looking at it that way, I didn't feel as like weird about it. I originally was never on like the Reylo bandwagon, but after I was not mad about it at all. I thought it was like for the 5 seconds that I thought they were gonna live happily ever after, I was so on board with this. Like, yeah, it's cute. They're gonna have a really powerful kid, and then he dies. I think one of the things a lot of people were talking about, well, doesn't that put a plot hole with the whole prequels? The whole reason he became Darth Vader was because he wanted to save Padme.
I will even learn to stop people from dying.
It was just as easy as like placing your hand on her and wishing really hard or using the Force. And I'm not mad about it. I think there's always, like in any Star Wars movie, there can be things we learn about the Force as long as it doesn't negate everything that came before it. One thing I really wonder is he puts his hand like over her like womb area, and I was like, is this like how Anakin came to be since he didn't have a father? Is there still going to be an actual Reylo baby after all? I don't know. I would be really on board with that. I know that's probably a controversial opinion. I don't know, but I think it would be really cool, and then it wouldn't feel like all the Skywalkers were dead. I know Rey took the Skywalker name, as like anybody can take a name, because you don't want to have the name Palpatine. Like if you had the last name of Hitler, you'd want to change that name. I don't like the idea of all the Skywalkers being dead. I also really loved a lot of like the Young Jedi Knight series with, I loved Jaina and Jason. And I know that's been out the window for a while, so it's not like I was expecting for that to continue on. It's just a lot of many years of stuff that was just thrown out the window. Disney is trying to make Star Wars something that is more commercially viable than a lot of the EU stuff, and I can't be mad at them for that. That's what you have to do in order to keep making more of it. I really do think with this one they were trying to strike a balance between making something new and a movie like that they believed in. I think I'm at peace with it. With 9, the ending still, and I just need to come to grips with it. Like about all the Skywalkers being dead. I'm fine with it. I like Rey. I like Rey even more after 9. I feel like she's just such like a kind person, but she's kind in a way that also obviously doesn't let people walk all over you or walk all over others or people that you care about. I still think I need more time to process this. I really do think it is the best possible ending for what all we were given. And I think it was the perfect ending for the sequels. This is just like my honest ramblings with you guys. and maybe this can be like non-spoiler section now, they still to me feel a little disjointed from the others, but I'm okay with that, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Especially we're gonna be getting lots more Star Wars things. Like, I'm so excited for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. The Mandalorian's obviously fantastic. Rogue One I love. I love Rogue One. I feel like I just didn't know it was possible. I almost felt like it somehow made the original better. All it did was enhance it. I'm so excited for the new season of Clone Wars. Even though this channel's not a Star Wars channel, I just always continue to talk about it because it's something I love, even though it's not the core of the channel. It's just something that's the core part of that made me who I am. So I want to know what you guys think down in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. I know that some of this can be extremely polarizing. So let's please try to be friendly, not even friendly, just respectful of others' opinions. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Remember, if you want to see more videos like this, actually a lot of the videos are the beauty, fashion, lifestyle content with a pinch of magic, which a lot of times means a lot of Disney and or Star Wars stuff just smushed in there. So if you want to see more videos, remember to subscribe and ring the little bell if you want those to come right to you, because I do put out new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so there's always new content coming for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please, please, please join me in the comments below because I need to talk about this with somebody. Oh, anyway, I'll see you next time. Oh, and may the Force be with you. Always. I have the hiccups and there's a fly that keeps flying at my light. And I'm not even like a big fan of number 8, and I still have a stuffed porg, and I have wrapping paper with porgs on it. I don't know what that was. Like a bunny. Rey and Shmi Skywalker look like the exact same person. They look so much alike, it's weird.